Okay, Hare Krishna. Let me start, Prabhu. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu is Matajis. Welcome all of you. Thank you for joining. So,
Hare
let's
Krishna,
start.
Prabhuji. Dandavad, Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
जगन्नाथ बोलेश्वर माई की जय, श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय, नरसिंह भगवान की जय, पंच तत्व की जय, षड गोस्वामी की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, गुरुदेव की जय। ताइगो ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमो
नमः
विष्णुपादाय
कृष्ण
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी
गौरवाचार्य
प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we'll be taking up Bhagavad Gita verse number 6.42. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमता एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्। अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमता एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्। Translation by Divine Geshe Prabhupada ki jai. Or, if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. See, in the first line of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised herein, because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. See, out of the three, either he gets his birth in a Brahmana family, or his birth in a rich family, or in a family where members are highly advanced in the yoga. So Krishna says the third one is to be considered more fortunate. That is, third one is what? The one who has got his birth in the family of a yogi, a devotee, a Vaishnava. Because, why, one who has got his birth in a rich family, he may be misled. And naturally, it so happens, right? See, when a man gets riches, silver spoon in his mouth, he thinks, oh, I got so much money, my paternal property, so let me enjoy it. So sometimes he becomes a drunkard, so many other, wayward, right? He becomes like that. You got the example of Ajamila, right? Similarly, in a Brahmana family also, see, like we have seen in India, there are many persons who are born in a very pious family. Now, because he has taken his birth in a pious family, he thinks, I am a Brahmana. What I have got to do now? I am very pious family. So they mistake in that way, being proud, and thereby they degrade. So in the pious family or in the rich family, there is a chance of degradation. But one who takes his birth in a family of a yogi, a devotee, he has got better chance for cultivating the same spiritual culture, from which in his past life he could not complete, he had fallen. Therefore, Krishna says, Etadi durlabhataram. This is very rare, that a man gets his birth, a parent, a yogi. This is very rare. So if a person engaged in yoga, bhakti yoga, right, the process of self-realization, somehow or the other, he fails to complete, he may not be able to complete the process in that birth. What happens? Krishna is giving him another chance. That is, he's given birth in a family of a pure Brahmana or a rich man. And if one is fortunate enough to take birth in such a family, he gets all the facilities to understand the importance of self-realization. He may be in a Brahmana family, a rich family and all. So initially, there is no need for him to worry about money and anything, right? So he can do self-realization. See, from the very beginning of life, Krishna conscious children are getting the opportunity to learn how to chant, how to dance. So when they are grown up, no, they will not change. But instead will automatically make progress. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. My dear Arjuna, if one understands my appearance, disappearance, and activities, simply because of this understanding, he is given the opportunity to take birth in the spiritual world after giving up this body. See, one has to give up the body today, tomorrow, or maybe the day after. One has to. But a person who has understood Krishna will not have to take another material body. It is very important to understand. A person who has understood Krishna, his birth, activities, pastimes, everything, then he does not have to take another material body. What happens? He goes directly to the spiritual world and takes birth in one of the spiritual planets, Vaikuntha planets or Goloka. So Krishna says that as soon as one gets this body, it doesn't matter if it is from India or the moon or the sun or the Brahmaloka or anywhere within this material world, one should know that it is due to his sinful activities. This material body is due to sinful activities. See, there are degrees of sinful activities. So according to the degree of sinfulness, one takes a material body. Therefore, see, our real problem is not how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. That is not the real problem. We are worried, no, how we can get the food, how we can get money, so many things. But our real problem is how to get a body that is not material but spiritual. The real problem is how to get a body that is not material but spiritual. So that is the ultimate solution to all the problems. So Krishna guarantees. Krishna, he guarantees that if one surrenders unto him, if one becomes fully Krishna conscious, then he will give one protection from all reactions to sinful life. Which verse is this? Sarva dharman parityeja mamekam sharanam braja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshe shami ma shucha. That's why he says, he guarantees that if one surrenders unto him, and if one becomes fully Krishna conscious, then he will give one protection from what? From all reactions to sinful life. See, consciously, unconsciously, we do sinful activities. But Krishna will give protection if you surrender to him. See, this verse, Krishna says, no, unsuccessful yogi. Right? See, we may take up Krishna consciousness, but one may not be able to complete his Krishna conscious activities during this life. Maybe half. Suppose you started Bhagavad Gita, and during this life you complete only maybe up to 6th chapter. Don't worry. The next Janma, you will have to start only from the 7.1. 7th chapter only you have to start, because all the 6 chapters will come along with you. But if you have done MBA or PhD, so many other things in this life, next life you have to start right from kindergarten, right, KG. All again. But this devotional activities will always accompany you. So see, Prabhupada says, the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy, right? So he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. And verily, such a birth is rare in this world. So this is the previous 2 verses, 6.41, one verse where Prabhupada says. So see, very important for us to understand. There are many planets in this universe. So on the higher planets, there are greater comforts. You may think here it is great comfort. No, higher, more and more better comforts. And the duration of life is longer there. And the inhabitants are more religious and godly. And it is said that 6 months on the earth is equal to 1 day on the higher planets. So the unsuccessful yogi who has just completed only part, so he stays on these higher planets for many, many years. The Vedic literatures describe their lifetimes as lasting for 10,000 years. So even if one is a failure, he is promoted to these higher planets. But the important thing to note is that one cannot remain there perpetually. You are gone, you are enjoying greater comforts more number of years. When the fruits or the results of one's pious activities expire, he has to return back to this earth. So, see, even after returning to this planet, what happens? No, the unsuccessful yogi meets with fortunate circumstances because he takes his birth in either a rich or pious family again. So, generally, according to the law of karma, if one enacts pious deeds, he is rewarded in the next life by birth into a very aristocratic family or into a very wealthy family or becomes a great scholar or is born very beautiful. In any case, those who sincerely, this is very, very important, see, those who sincerely begin spiritual life are guaranteed human birth in the next life. Not only human birth, but birth into either a pious or wealthy family. So one with such a good birth should understand that his fortune is due to his previous pious activities and by Krishna's mercy. So these facilities are given by the Lord, who is always willing to give us the means to attain him. Krishna simply wants to see that we are sincere. That's the only thing he wants. Then he will allow us to bind him. We saw in Damodara pastime, right? Krishna saw Yashoda Mata. It's very sincere. She wanted to tie him, which was devotion. So automatically, he allowed Yashoda Mata to tie him. So with bhakti, we can tie Krishna. So this is the beauty of this Krishna conscious movement. See, that's why in the Prabhupada, the purport says, no, birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised here because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. Prabhupada says, it is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training. And thus they become spiritual masters. Prabhupada further says in the purport, in India, there are many such Acharya families. But they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalist generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Now, Prabhupada talks about his spiritual master and himself. He says, fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnupada Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self, he's talking about himself. They both had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord. And both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. So that's why Kaumaram Acharit Pragya, right from the early age of 5, Prahlad Maharaj says, you should be coming to this devotional service. You should give this Krishna consciousness to everyone right from the early age. That's why children has to be given this Krishna consciousness right from the beginning. Then this Kali Yuga will not touch us. No problems will touch them. Even if it comes, they will not be affected by that. So let's stop here. Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving this opportunity to glorify the Lord in this wonderful month of Damodara, today being the last day of this Damodara month. Let us all chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radha Damodar ki jai, Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.